Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Call Sheet Confessions. I have a very special guest today and a dear friend of mine. She's from Philly and killing it out here in LA. She works in artist and athlete relations at a live streaming production company. She's also a former stylist. I have my friend Kailey on the podcast.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to finally do this with you.
Me too. It's been a long time coming.
It has been.
Yes.
We've been trying to lock this down for a minute.
Yes. So let's talk about how we met.
Please. Please.
So we met through our mutual friend, Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out, Sammy.
Shout out, Sammy.
You had never met me before. And Sammy connected us because I was having crazy roommate issues. And was like, hey, Kailey, could my friend, crash with you for a bit?
No, literally, the exact word she calls me. And she's like, hey, no, you don't know her, but can my friend Mia come, to your house for a second? And I was like, okay. And then we ended up staying together for 5 days.
Yes. We went to John and Vinny's. We got tacos.
It was so fun, though.
It was so much fun.
Talk about, breaking the ice with a stranger.
Seriously.
But I feel like that's what made us so close.
Yeah.
Was, a crazy situation. I'm sure I had stuff going on in my life at the time that we just, blended so perfectly, I feel like.
And it's so easy for us to talk. I feel like we, talked for hours, the first day
we can talk.
Yes. That's what we're going to do today.
Yes.
So, Kailey, take us back to you as a young child. What was it like growing up in Philly? What were your interests? How does that relate to what you do now?
Yeah, I mean, Philly, I always say, the most asked question I feel like I get, and probably you too, is, LA or Philly, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, they're so different, but it's, in Philly, I feel like you're so trained to, treat others how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I was always the, loud, crazy, energetic kid, and, I danced too growing up.
Yes.
And when I was younger, when I was really young, I wanted to always kind of be in the fashion area. And then as I got older, crazy enough, I literally wanted to be in the FBI. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I went to college to do, study criminology and forensic psychology. And then obviously I'm in a totally different area right now, but that's what it was for me, and that's kind of what I always had wanted to do. Was it started as fashion, and then it moved into work. And I think it's because I'm a people person. I always say I can't sit at a desk all day. That's not a job that will ever be for me. I need to be active and out and running around and talking to people. I love the chaos of a job.
Yeah. So that makes sense for the entertainment industry.
Yeah, for sure.
So you moved from Philly to LA. How did you get into fashion when you first moved here?
Yeah, so I moved here about 4 years ago, and I moved out here to get sober. That's kind of how I first landed in LA.
Yeah.
So I got a job at a boutique on Abbot Kinney called Principessa, just literally a sales boutique job. After that, I moved to another boutique in Santa Monica, and along that time frame, a woman DM'd me on Instagram totally randomly because I posted a video. I helped my friend as an assistant one day. So I made get ready with me to be an assistant for the day. And this woman DM'd me and she was like, hey, I'm looking for an assistant. I started working for her as an assistant and I just didn't like it. The industry she was working in and the time didn't exactly align with what I wanted to do. So I went to quit. And she was like, okay, cool. You need to stay my stylist. You're really good at it. Because I did a lot of her, closet organization and helping her for, events and brand deals and, sponsorship shoots, stuff like that. Simultaneously, at the same time, I started dating someone who was in the network. We met through being sober, but he's also in the network of, athletes and rappers. He's not one, but there are a lot of his close friends due to what he does for a living. He introduced me to some higher level people, and I honestly I got lucky, to be fully transparent. I got one good celebrity client and it put my name kind of in the game. And that's how I started to get into it. Were there times where it was like freelance stuff, like organizing closets and like little things? Sure. But it's like if you do it the right way and stick to your ground when it comes to like rates and travel, you can, you know, kind of like hold yourself over for a longer period of time. So that's how I got into it, honestly.
Yeah. So as a young woman, we're both 22. Mm-hmm. How do you stick to those rates and have those business conversations? And, you know, how do you get people to take you seriously as a young woman?
Yeah, that's something, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like also, like, when I moved out to LA, I never got complimented on my people skills, my mannerisms, my ability to hold a conversation until I moved here. I feel like in the Philly especially, it's like, I'm going to say it straight to your face whether you like it or not.
Right.
You know, it's not malicious. It's just I'm going to state my opinion. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Out here, everyone kind of like beats around the bush
Yeah.
and sugarcoats. That I think like what makes me so strong in my job today, especially because like now I work in a very, very male dominant field. So not only am I walking into a room as the only woman, I'm walking into the room as a 22-year-old woman. Right? So if they talk to me on the phone, they're like, okay, cool. And it's usually easier. When they meet me in person for the first time, they're like, hello?
Interesting.
You know? So
yeah.
One, it's like, I say what I'm going to say. I'm not going to hold back. I'm definitely mindful of it, but I say what I'm going to say. And I think also it's confidence. Like, if I walk into a room and I feel as though I can handle that conversation, I know I can get it done, it's going to go smoother. If I walk into that room doubting it, like, oh, like, I'm a young woman, like, they're not going to take me seriously. How do I prove myself? Well, should I use big words that are, like, big corporate words so they understand me better? It's like, no, you know, and especially in the industry I work in now, it's like, we're getting to know people we work in front of live cameras. I can't go back and edit it out.
Right.
You know, so if I talk to you face to face like a person, sometimes they reciprocate that better. And, you know, that's what I do. I do have like a couple people around me who at my company, like our head of production at my company, he holds me to it. Like, he'll let me know what's up. He's like, good job, but you could have said it like this, or hey, you need to remember you're a young woman in this industry. You should go to this meeting because this woman who's the COO of this record company, she's also a woman in a male dominant field. Learn from her. Pick up on her body language, her words, her direction. You know, so it's also being able to accept constructive criticism. I might not agree with what you're telling me to do, but I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna let you know I'm listening, and I'll take the suggestion.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because so many people don't want direction or they want to do it themselves. And it's like, no, I need to learn from someone who's been in the industry for 20 plus years.
Right.
Working along these types of people, whether they're man or woman, they've been in the industry, you know?
Yeah. And I always say that constructive criticism means that that person cares about you because they wouldn't waste their breath if they didn't care about your growth. So it's really a compliment of like, okay, they see something in me and they know I can become like improve my skills and become stronger at what I'm doing.
100%.
It's a good thing.
100%. Yeah. And I think it's like for both of us, like I think you arguably have more experience in the area you work in than I do. However, like we are young. We have so many jobs, so many careers, so many clients, productions, events in front of us that whatever we learn now or problems we go through now, hurdles we overcome are only preparing us for the longevity of our career.
Definitely.
Which I think is really important. Like I know where I work now. I'm not going to work there forever, but it's a huge stepping stone into whatever I'm gonna do in the future, you know?
And even when you were talking about, you know, working as that like fashion assistant and doing those brand deals and things, that correlates to what you do now. So each experience, you know, shapes your skills for the next experience.
Yeah, and I've learned that like things you don't even realize could, like I nannied my whole life until I moved to LA, and I specialized nannying children with special needs. A lot of those skills I had to practice in that job I use now. Like the most important one would be patience. You know, I'm a very impatient, like I need the answer now. I want it done now. I don't have time to wait. in production, yeah, that is true at times. I need that now. But there's also certain clients or projects that are that slow burn, and it's hard to just sit there and wait. That like that's a skill I took from nannying, or even just like biting your tongue. You know, I can't tell a kid exactly what I'm thinking. It's a 4-year-old. Right. And in this industry, it's so quick to be like, well, you could have done this, or you should have done this, or did you think of this? And sometimes you just have to kind of like bite your tongue. You know, it's a very competitive industry.
Definitely. So ever since I've met you, I've always seen you as very business-minded. Like, you are very intelligent.
Thank you.
And I feel like, you know, on the outside, people might not assume that. But, like, you are very, very smart. And so did you always see yourself as business-minded, or did you learn those skills and then see yourself that way?
You know, I don't think I saw myself that way. And I still think sometimes I don't, because, like, I didn't follow a traditional life path. Mm-hmm. I didn't finish college. I didn't make it very far in college. I've never historically been book smart, you know, and for me, that's something I looked at as a negative thing. I was like, I'm never going to get a good job. I'm never going to get a high paying job because I don't have the degree, or I don't have the knowledge on history, whatever it may be. Yeah. I can't do my times tables. But I've always been someone that's very, like, people call it street smart. So, you know, I'm very extroverted versus introverted. So it's like having a career that allows me to build business relationships verbally, that's where I thrive. Yeah. And I think that's what's taught me to be a businesswoman. Me having a conversation with you as a friend is going to be different than I have a conversation with an investor or a client. But the similarity is I'm having a conversation. If you have me cold calling emails, I can't do it. Like, it's not, I'll never not try something once, and I'm very big on that. But it's not my skills, and I think what makes me a better business-minded now is having that self-awareness. You know, a couple months ago, we restructured my company, and I went to my CEO, and I got a new position, and I said, hey, like, I'll try this position, but I don't think this is going to serve me or the company, and I don't think it highlights my skills. So that's not me saying, hey, I give up, I'm not going to ever do this. It's me acknowledging, hey, like, I don't think I have this skill set to get this done the way you see this being done. I think I would be better at this. He could tell me tough, put up with it, take it or leave it. Or, and this is what ended up happening, he's like, okay, write me a proposal and we'll talk about it. And right there, it's like self-awareness and being a self-advocate is super important in business. Instead of just doing things by the book and by the paper, I feel like you either work like that in a corporate world, or you're kind of like the black sheep who always wants to, like, do things the other way. So I think that's what's kind of trained me. And back to, like, what we were talking about, constructive criticism is a really big part of this, because then, you know, he could come to me and be like, hey, you wanted to do this position, I gave it to you, but you're not hitting your deliverables, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, you know what, you're right, I'm going to come up with the solution. Or, you know, I'm going to be like, you know what, you were right. I didn't thrive at this like I wanted to do. So I think that's kind of what does it. And also just, like, looking up to people. Like, my mom, she works, you know, in corporate America. She works for a health insurance company, completely different from what I do. But she talks to people all day. So, like, I'll call her and I'm like, how do I write? Does this contract sound good? Or can you help me with this? Or what do you think about this conversation or email? How should I word this? And I think it's, like, being a self-advocate, being self-aware, and be willing to take accountability for your rights and wrongs, and also asking for help. Like, I think we're so quick to be like, I can do it myself. I can do it. And it's like, no, take the help, you know? And that's, like, one of my biggest pieces of advice. If someone's offering you help or constructive criticism, listen. You don't need to take it, but listen. And it's always good to get another set of eyes on things, especially contracts. I always, like, when I'm writing emails or I get a contract for a job, I send it to my mom, I send it to my grandfather. I'm like, give me your notes, let me know if this looks good. Like, it's important to have, like, an advisor or someone that you can talk to and, you know,
have that conversation with.
For sure.
So you mentioned that you started with one role at the company, and you thought your skills would better be served in a different role.
Yeah.
What's your advice for having a conversation like that with your boss, especially being so young? Because
Yeah.
I relate to that. And we're very smart and we're very young, and some people don't take well to that because they're like, you're literally so, like, what do you have to say about this, you know? And sometimes they won't really take you seriously, or they'll be almost offended that you feel like you have the right to speak up for yourself.
For sure.
So what's your advice for going about that?
Yeah, and like full transparency to how I got brought into my company in general was super, like, again, it was a very special situation. I got hired to this specific company I work for right now as an assistant in a area of the company I had zero knowledge in. I got hired to, this no longer exists where I work, but I got hired to a crypto side of the company.
Interesting.
I don't know anything about crypto, but I know how to be an assistant. So that's how I got hired. And then, you know, I think I thrive in my role because I take initiative on things. And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a bad thing because it's hard to learn. There's a difference between taking initiative and feeling the need to have control over a situation. So, you know, to make a super long burn story short, I got hired as an assistant. I put my ass on the line and raised my voice in a situation that didn't involve me, and also put myself in another situation which was something you kind of saw me do. We worked with the cast of Love Island. Like, at that point in time, I had nothing to do with the social media influencer side of the company, but I gave a suggestion on how to run that project, and the CEO of my company was like, okay, go ahead. I basically recommended, like, hey, we should send someone to make these cast members feel comfortable, because they had just, like, gotten off an island with no phone, no family, like, straight to LA. He was like, okay, go. And I was like, go? Like, me? And I could say to the cast members at the time, like, I'm not here on business. I'm here to make you feel comfortable. That was true at the time. 2 days later, the CEO of my company asked to have a meeting with me. And I was like, I called my dad. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I, like, accidentally put myself in this situation and, like, raised my voice. And my dad's exact words were, you either yell at the CEO of your company and get fired or noticed. Hope it's the second. And it was the second. And he was like, I want to offer you a better position. So he basically offered me the position of the guy I got hired to be an assistant for on the social media side of the company. Our company was very small at the time. We were a startup. So, like, on paper, it was a senior level position, but because there were only 6 employees, that didn't really matter.
Yeah.
So fast forward till now, we have grown tremendously. We are now moving to a way larger scale company. So we did an internal restructure to departments, and I got put in talent discovery. And they really wanted to start, you know, trickling into artists and athletes. And, like, there's never a world where live streaming is very different than anything out there right now. There's never a world where, like, a famous rapper or athlete is going to be a Kai Cenat, a Neon, and I Show Speed, because they don't have the time, effort, or need. They're already rich and famous.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that is when I went to my boss and, like, I said, hey, I don't think this position of talent discovery is where my skills are. I strive in being boots on the ground, you know, executing events. I strive in having those in-person meetings. I strive at those negotiatings and, you know, winning someone over. Because for rappers and athletes, I have to re-explain that ecosystem, because they're like, I'm already rich and famous. Why do I need to do this? So I have to re-explain to them the benefit of doing that, where if someone like you were to, like, hey, I'm a dancer, I'm working in the industry, I want to start streaming, easy, because that's only going to benefit you in the normal ecosystem, right? Yeah. So I emphasized what I thought my strengths were. He agreed with me. He was like, I agree, you have a very special skill set. Write me a proposal. Yes, it was really hard to have that conversation. Not necessarily hard, it was scary, because it's like, I really like where I work, I really like what I do, this could become a take it or leave it situation.
Yeah.
And it almost did, you know, it almost did, but I told him I was going to try it. And I tried it, and we all kind of noticed like it wasn't going well. So I was like, if you want this demographic of people, I believe at this point in time, I'm the only one at the company who can assist with that. And he didn't disagree. Could that have changed by today? Sure. So that's how I had that conversation. And it's like, you know, it's just, I'm like very big on like, everything happens for a reason at that time.
Definitely.
I might not understand that reason right now, but I will one day. So I kind of went into that conversation in acceptance of this could go completely negative. I could walk out of this office without a job because I'm speaking up, but I'm okay with that outcome because that outcome's what's meant to happen. It takes time to train your brain to think like that. It really, really does. But once I can hit that point of acceptance, I'm okay with whatever the outcome will be. And more importantly, I will be able to stand in that room and hear that worst outcome possible professionally. Where if I don't prepare myself for that, I could react. I could argue back. I could raise my voice. I could be like, well, but I'm the best employee you'll ever have. And he's like, I'm going to call Google right now and literally get a better employee, you know, like stuff like that. And that's kind of like my advice for walking into those conversations is just like being an acceptance of that outcome may be uncomfortable. It may be hard. It may be sad. It may like, there's a difference between living to work and working to live. Is it facts that I have to pay my car payment? I have to keep a roof over my head. I have to keep food in my body? Yeah. But I kind of get the double end of the straw because I like my job. But I do need my job. I don't work to work. I need to have a job to live in LA and fulfill the life I want to live.
Yeah. So live streaming is this new thing, this new wave of social media and building your personal brand. What do you see the future of live streaming looking like?
This is going to sound so dramatic and crazy. I think it's going to take over TV.
Interesting.
If you look at it on like an analytical perspective, let's take HBO, Netflix, Instagram, and TikTok, and Facebook. Facebook is on a pretty, and then 2 streaming platforms, Kick and Twitch. Facebook's on a pretty nice decline. Yeah. Instagram's like lower than TikTok, but it's kind of like up, down, up, down.
Yeah, I feel like Instagram will kind of just be there.
Yeah, I agree. I think Instagram will kind of just, and the reason for that is, from what I understand, Instagram doesn't have great monetization. Yeah. And like payouts. You're going to make way more money on TikTok than Instagram. Right. HBO and Netflix are kind of like Twitch and Kick, which are the 2 most popular streaming platforms, are on a straight incline. Straight. The reason for that being, and like one of the argument points me and the CEO of my company, I learned this from him, always uses, is when you're watching a movie, you're going to know what's going to happen halfway through the movie. Yeah. You know, live streaming, you never know what the next thing is going to be, because it could be as simple as you're walking down the street on stream talking to someone and the person behind you falls and trips. That's a natural thing that happened. Yeah. But you didn't know that was going to happen. The viewers didn't know it was going to happen. It happened, though. So it's kind of like it keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's definitely like, we're definitely seeing the demographic is like 13 years old to like 30 is like the age range of people watching it. But people are replacing it while they're like at work. Yeah. You know, listening to that instead of like a TV show or podcast are definitely the same situation.
I was just going to say that, yeah, because now Netflix is putting podcasts on Netflix. And I'm like, that's so smart. Yeah. Because people are spending so much watch time on YouTube and Spotify watching podcasts that if you put them on Netflix and specific episodes, people are going to be like, all right, now I have to watch these on Netflix. Yeah. And I also I put a podcast on when I'm in the shower or when I'm cleaning my house. So I do see streaming becoming that same thing.
And like technology is just like always changing, and the technology for streaming is like, it's pretty intense. Like there's backpacks they're these backpacks that essentially are Wi-Fi routers in a bag, and you can also put a Starlink on them if you need more, where you, like we've had clients go to Nigeria, we've seen people go to Turks and Caicos, Dominican Republic, not one of our clients, but he recently just went to an abandoned island and streamed on the island. There's no houses, like there's nothing. It's literally in an island for 5 days, and it's because of the technology he was able to do a 24-hour live stream for 5 days straight. And we're also like seeing the physical platforms themselves. Like this was announced, I think, in October, but like Amazon just bought Twitch. So, you know, when you like are on an Instagram ad and it's an ad for a product, you go to buy the product and it like takes you to a link. It takes you to another link. Then you pick the product, another link, and then you pick the size. And then when you pay, it's another link. When I get to that 5th link, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
Twitch, because Amazon bought it, is integrating that you can like buy things straight off the stream connected to whatever credit card you have on file for Twitch. So it's like now that gives people, like for me, as I said, the demographic I work with is completely different than the average streamer. It's like some of them are like, well, what else am I going to benefit from it? Most rappers or athletes have a partnership with a sneaker brand or an energy drink, or they have merch, whatever. They can now integrate that straight into their stream. And what I think is cool about streaming is like organic promotion. So like, let's say I'm drinking a water bottle because I'm thirsty. That water bottle could be sponsored, or just in my background, I have like a certain pair of shoes. I'm not sitting here like, hey, buy these shoes with code da-da-da. They're organically placed, and people are going to be like, oh, those shoes are kind of fly. Like, where do I get them? And it's just like organic placement. So that's why I think it's going to kind of take over. Because I think now we're so trained to see like ads or UGC videos.
Yeah.
It's like,
and shoving products down your throat. Like, I've seen, like, a matching set, like, 20 times on my TikTok For You page. It's the same set in every video. And it's, I think that organic, natural placement will be better.
For sure. And, like, by the 20th video, I'm like, okay, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or I'm like, get this off my For You page, you know?
That's how I start to feel. Because I'm like, all right, well, now everyone's going to have this set. Because it's shoved down everyone's throats. So, Kailey, what does a day look like on your call sheet?
Yeah.
What's a day in your life look like at this job?
It's one of my like favorite questions and favorite things is like it's different every day.
Yeah.
You know, like a basic day would be going into my office and sending some emails and then, you know, whatever, doing clericals all day, and then I go home. What I love about my job is things change like that. I could get a call from a client or a friend like, hey, so-and-so has a show tomorrow in LA and he wants to live stream this set. Are you guys good to go? And I'm like, down. And then it's like meeting with my production team, meeting with my like production to set up all the cameras and everything like that. Then I go to marketing and be like, hey, this artist has some longevity or they're super viral right now. Let's get our social media team at the show. Talking to the talent team like, hey, do we want to make this a one-off or do we see this person doing something in the future? Or like it could be something as crazy as my CEO calling me like, hey, I need you in Miami in 2 hours. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But it's like, I love the chaos of it. A lot of people would have a really hard time in an environment where it's constantly changing. You never know what the outcome's going to be. You never know, like, travel days, easily minimum 16-hour days. Travel days are the longest days for, like, 16 hours working, not including travel. Those are my favorite days. Like, I love the chaos. I love the, like, immediate problem solving. I love the, like, if we're at a venue, having to collab with that staff, being that talent liaison between production and, you know, let's say the record label or the management. So, like, that's what I love, but a typical day in my life, I never really know what I'm walking into. I know my basis is like getting to the office, opening my email, and my biggest problem is not looking at my text messages. So like locking in and going through my text messages.
Yeah. So you're that liaison between the production team and the artist team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting. How does your communication style vary when you're speaking to the artist team versus your production team?
For sure, it's definitely the production team. I can talk like straight up. Like I can talk to them not however I want, but I can like keep it a buck with them, I like to say. And I also can give them precautions. Like, you know, like it's not a secret that some of the clients I work with may have some legalities around them or may have, you know, families at home that they need to protect, or certain athletes and rappers have a lot of mystique to them and they want to keep that mystique. So I can say to my production team, like, hey, so-and-so is in some heat right now, or so-and-so just had a baby. Let's not talk about his family life so they can enjoy that privacy, or so-and-so has a personal issue going on. Let's not, let's say they broke their leg and they don't want anyone to know they broke their leg. Like, let's just film them from here up. I can keep it very transparent with the production team. With the management side of things, I definitely have to be way more mindful of how I articulate myself, because you don't want to accidentally say something that could give them crisis mode. It could be simple. It could be just like a little flag, a little red line, or it could be something as like a live camera is so much different from something you can edit, because you cannot go back. And it could be things happen naturally. Like the way I hold my phone the same way every single day. I'm going to forget that when there's a camera right next to me, because I'm doing something that's natural to me. So you just want to, I like to word things to the team very general and only get specific when I have to, or when they ask the questions, just so you don't like flag them. You never lie to them or beat around the bush, but it's very important to not overshare in those situations.
Yeah. And so we know what a day at the office looks like. What does a day look like on a live stream day?
Yeah, I mean, I would say my favorite live streams we do are shows, like music shows. Those, or, a large scale event, like an award show or something. Those are my favorite. But for something like that, like we just did a really crazy one in New York, which was probably one of my favorite productions I've ever done. It was so cool. But like a day like that too. And like one thing about the way I work and my company is like, we get things done. Like people need a timeline. We can get stuff done in 24 hours. Like, the show was on a Friday. Thursday, we got to the office at 4 a.m., got on a flight to New York, got to the hotel by 6 p.m., went to bed. We flew in the day before because that's the only time we were going to have sleep. Woke up at 6 a.m., went to Madison Square Garden, met with not Madison Square Garden, Radio City, met with the Radio City workers, actually, the label wasn't even there yet, so just meeting with Radio City workers to be in compliant with those venues have regulations and labor laws on their end. So we just have to comply with that when you come in as a vendor. That's for anyone in general. It's just a general rule they have. We're there by 8 a.m. Then I have to break my team at some point. So I let them break for a couple hours before we go back to Radio City. We're at Radio City from 2 hours before showtime to end of showtime, so that's like 4 p.m. to like midnight. Security walkthroughs, because my most important thing is like being that liaison. Yes, I want clear communication with the label or whoever I'm working with, but I also need to make sure my team is safe. I'm responsible for those team members that are traveling, making sure they have food, their flights are booked, they have transportation. So it's just like, I need to do security protocols in venues I've never been through to make sure I know the easiest exit points, God forbid something happens. So those are the reasons we go early. We need to test the equipment. We need to test the audio. We need to test our intercoms and stuff like that. And then it's showtime. Showtime's always chaotic because it's like there's always, you never know what could happen. There could be an issue, and it's like, at Radio City, I literally had my comm wasn't working to communicate with my team because there were so many phones inside. We did all of this with a 5-man team. A production like this would usually take up to almost 20 people. Because of its live streaming, you only need 5. So I have my comm, like a headphone, talking to my team. It's not working. And then in this, I have an in-ear connected to Radio City and the artists who were performing, so I can hear their audio. And that's my cue to my team, like, hey, so-and-so is about to come on stage. But this wasn't working, so I had a headphone under the comm connected to a phone call to my technical director. So I had 3 intercoms in my ear, literally like in-ear to the artist, in-ear to my technical director, headphone to my videographers and cam ops and PAs. And there was like one moment where I was like, oh my God, I'm going to freak out. I'm hearing, and then there's 20,000 people behind me. So I'm like, I'm going to freak out. I have 3 audios going into my ear at once. And then I finally was like, I'm taking this off, communicate with me through a phone call. Because sometimes you need to make those executive decisions. Like,
Yeah.
this is going to be inconvenient, but I need this to happen in order to execute my job.
Right.
Show wraps, make sure the boys get some food in them, and then we're good to go. And the biggest thing about that is, though, communicating with the talent or the label or whoever before you go live. You need to, before you go live, because once we're live, I can't, like, I always recommend a gesture, right? If you need to breathe, or you need the camera off of you, or you need to tell me something where it needs to be muted, we need a gesture or a code word.
Yeah.
If I don't talk to you before stream, I can't get that code word.
Right.
But that's what, like, off-site or event travel days, like, they're super, like, and so, like, to end that little story, we finish at midnight. This is a Friday midnight in New York. I had to be in LA Saturday by 11 a.m. for All-Star Weekend. So I don't sleep. I get on a flight straight that next morning at like 5 a.m. from New York to LA like a movie, like literally like a movie. As soon as the tires hit the tarmac, head of production calls me, "Hey, I hope you're ready to work. I need you in Beverly Hills now." It's like, okay, here we go. So it's like Thursday from 4 a.m., 3 a.m., straight to Saturday, 11 a.m. And then I finally wrapped around like 7 p.m. on Saturday. So it was just like straight work. But I like had so much fun that weekend doing all of that.
I always define you as like the definition of like a true hustler. Like Kailey is a true hustler. Do you hear? She said, I'm making sure travel's good. I'm making sure they have food. I'm checking with security. I'm telling them they're cute. Like, you do everything. Your job is like everything in one. Like you said, that would usually be like a team of so many more people, but you're handling all those things, which
it's like
it takes a special person to do all that.
I love it though. Like, a lot of people wouldn't be able to do that. I'm not saying I'm some like queen of streaming, not at all. It's just like that goes back to that self-awareness of I could never sit at a desk job and send emails all day.
Yeah.
Put me in the fire, I'm gonna throw the flame.
Right.
You know, but it's the biggest part about that is like having a strong team of people around me. So when we do trips like that, like the head of production usually does it, but like he sits there and we have a large production team.
Yeah.
He hand picks everyone. So it's like, okay, all these guys know how to work well together. He's a really good cam op. He's also a good cam op. He can be a cam op if like a sub cam op, but he's going to thrive as a PA on this trip. Yeah. Kailey has had the communications with the label. She's familiar with the industry. She's been to New York a bunch of times. Like, that's also what makes it so important. And I'm lucky I have that luxury of someone and, you know, a company that's built around kind of like curating experiences, not only for the client, but for the staff.
Definitely. Yeah. So let's play some hot takes in Hollywood. This is going to be like a quick this or that.
Okay, perfect.
So we touched on this one, but Philly or LA?
It's so
hard. I know. I can't even answer this one.
Like, I don't think... Philly has my heart.
Yeah.
I think I'm staying in LA for good.
Me too.
You know, like, Philly has my heart, but I'm going to stay here. I don't know if I would want to raise my family in the same town we grew up in.
I would
honestly.
not. I would not. I would not. I can confidently say I would not.
I know, like, Philly people don't kill me. I love it.
They can visit. We can do trips to Philly because we have friends that are going to stay in Philly. A lot of people that grow up in that area stay in that area. They go to school in that area. They don't leave. So they can...
the system.
Yeah, we did. Like, my kids can go and, like, meet my friends over there.
For sure.
But, no, I would not want to raise... Because I didn't like growing up there.
Yeah.
I didn't like the school I went to. I didn't like the people I grew up... Like, of course, I had some great friends, but I just... That area... I didn't enjoy it, and I always wanted to live in a place like New York or Los Angeles. And, like, the fact that it's, like, 90 degrees today and, like... It's
I say to people who aren't from... Because we both moved to North Philly right after high school.
Yeah.
So it's, like, that North Philly... I'm cool with North Philly, and I love Lower Merion, where we're from.
Yes.
But I explain to people who have never been there, it's the Beverly Hills of Philadelphia. Like, it's very, like... A very, like... Most of it, not all of it, but a good amount of it's like a middle class or upper class area. A lot of the girls are like, I had a lot of not great female relationships
Yeah.
just because like we had different beliefs or we came from different
Right.
backgrounds. Like I came from a very good background. My parents do well. My family is successful. Nice house, food. Like we never like quote unquote struggled.
Yeah.
But I also didn't have everything fed to me on a silver spoon.
Yeah. And
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
too, like I had a weird experience because those people that I went to school with only ever were around those types of people and grew up around those type of people. Where dance introduced me to a whole world of different types of people,
as
especially
well.
dancing in the city of Philly. Like being the only white person in the room. The people I went to school with never had that experience. They were always the majority.
Yep.
And so it was a really weird, it was kind of hard to connect with those people. And like you said, a lot of them have different beliefs. And like, I don't gel with that. Like, and so, I just couldn't really imagine raising kids in that area. But I do love the city of Philly, like
For sure.
being in the city lines.
I always say, like, the best and worst decision I ever made was moving out at 17 to North Philly. It was the worst decision because I moved out because I wanted to grow up quick and because I wanted to be, like, I was a badass kid. I'm not going to lie. Like, I was a badass kid. I was not a great kid always. But I wanted to grow up so fast when I had an able home. I had a home with the roof. I had a home that was free. I had a home with food. My parents had a stable income. It was the best decision I made because it built me to move out here alone at 19. I could have, LA will chew you up and spit you out in 2 seconds.
Right.
2 seconds. Finding girlfriends out here is hard. It's expensive as fuck. Like, it is so expensive.
Yeah.
My rent is not high for LA. It's more than my mom's mortgage in Gladwin.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I lived by myself in Philly,
Yeah.
I could have such a nice place for
nice
such a small amount of money. Yeah.
But it truly shaped me into being able to make it out here.
Yeah.
Not career-wise, maybe, but mentally.
I think there's a different drive when you're coming from Philly because you come out here with something to prove and something to show and like you're on a mission. Where growing up here, you're just kind of used to it or desensitized to it. I don't think that drive maybe is as strong as when you're moving across the country to chase your dreams and do something with your life. And like living in North Philly and going to school at Temple, like I loved school there. And I was around all different types of people and I got to learn about something I was interested in, and I really enjoyed college, and it definitely set me up for what I do now.
You know, I went to Temple.
Yeah, for like a brief period of time.
A semester.
yes. They should give you an honorary degree at some point.
I still have my Temple ID.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right, a few more this or that's. West Side or East Side?
West Side all the way.
I knew you were going to say that.
Love the West Side. Venice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Styling or talent relations?
Talent relations. I love, especially the demographic I work in, like specifically artists and athletes. Love it.
Yeah. Night in or night out?
Okay, we have to keep in mind I'm sober.
Yeah.
Recently, I've been loving me a night in. I'll do a night out if it's a birthday or girls' night. That I'm down with. Honestly, I don't need to go out anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say I'm staying in.
Okay, love. Industry events or staying home?
Industry events, but sometimes I really gotta like mentally prepare. I gotta be like, okay, I gotta go talk to people because it's like biz dev for me when I'm doing that. Like I literally have to. Like my boss will send me to like Grammys week. He was like, why aren't you at any events? You have to go to all of them to do biz dev. And I was like, okay. So yeah, I like industry events, but definitely like if they have a purpose. I don't need to get on a carpet to get on a carpet.
Right. Designer bags, clothes, or shoes?
Bags.
Bags.
I love me a good bag. Because it has longevity.
Yes, that's what I wanted you to speak on because I remember I feel like you said something before about like when you were styling people like not to get shoes.
Yeah. I did talk to you about that. Basically, like what a lot of people don't know is people who get clothes from a stylist, they're rentals. That's first of all. So like most gowns and like nice dress necklaces you see on the red carpet, they're rentals.
Yeah.
Shoes don't have longevity, or you take them to like a shoe cobbler, and like red bottoms, you need to get a rubber bottom put on them. I have a couple pairs. They're all trashed on the bottom. So it's like bags have longevity. Of course, you have to take care of them. But like shoes, clothes, like I have some designer clothes, like they're the same quality as my, like, I have like Balenciaga leggings. They're the same quality as my Target leggings. Like they are. So that's why I think bags. But yeah, the shoes especially, like they crease. They get so messed up so quickly. Don't get me wrong, there's some nice shoes out there. Like, I love Mia Red Bottom. I think they're so sexy and so elegant. But
yeah, tricks of the trade right there. All right, so we're going to do some fact or fiction and clear up misconceptions about the industry.
Okay, this is fun.
Okay, first one being, you need to know someone famous to get in the industry.
No. Does it help? Sure. But no.
No. The music industry is incestuous. Everyone dates everyone in the music industry.
Like other musicians date other musicians?
Yeah, or just
or like they just get around.
They just get around.
Maybe not everyone. Don't cancel me. But like, y'all know what you're doing. Like, you guys know what you're doing. But I would too. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
If I was like Drake, I'd be flying every bitch out.
Yeah, right? No, I do sometimes like picture myself if I was like an artist. Like, I'm like, can't be bad. Can't be bad.
But I think like everyone settles down at some point, and I think we've all had some fun, but I'm say fact.
Period. All right. Working with artists and athletes is glamorous 24/7.
No.
Yeah, no.
Not at all.
And we just heard about some.
No. Legalities. They're grown men. Like, me versus grown men sometimes, I'm like,
yeah.
Like, what do you mean? My favorite, and like, I know I want to keep talking about this, but my favorite comment I got from a client once was, we were streaming his album release party, and I was saying something to him about, like, remember, this is a live camera. He goes, damn, I gotta wear the clothes, I gotta make the music, I gotta play the music, I gotta sing the music, I gotta hold the mic, and I gotta worry about the camera. Man, just turn the camera on. I was like, you know what? Period. Period. Because you know what? You're right. You're right. Just do your thing. Sometimes you gotta let people do their thing, you know? So, but it's just like little things like that where they're like,
yeah,
whatever, you know, where like influencers would probably be more like, okay, like they would want more like, okay, like detail and like, what about this? What if this happens? Where like, my demographic, they're just like, turn it on. That can be a good thing or a bad thing.
Right. Another one, the music and creator economy industries are oversaturated.
What do you mean by that?
Like, if someone wants to get into music or get into content creation, are those industries oversaturated? Like, are there too many people already doing it that it'd be hard to kind of grow in that?
Yeah, I do think now you need a little, I don't think anyone can do it.
Yeah.
I think in music, you really got to get lucky. And I think in content creation, it's the same thing. You got to get lucky. And I do think in music, it helps, like, to, like, a really good example is, like, Ty Dolla $ign brought on Leon Thomas. He signed him to his music label. Did that necessarily help him? Maybe. It definitely could have, having a backing behind him. Leon was nominated for 6 Grammys this year.
Right.
From Victorious to 6 Grammys?
Yeah.
Crazy. So that, you know, that could be something that did benefit him. I don't know if it did, but, you know, stuff like that for sure. Like, Rich the Kid just signed this artist who he met through, this artist made him a fan page. That's how they connected. Rich loved his music, signed him, and now, like, I just did a stream with the guy. Like, it was so cool, and I didn't know that's how they met. So I do think it, like, yeah, I think it is oversaturated, but I think if you get lucky, like that Rich the Kid story, that's pure luck.
Yeah.
Like, Rich seeing that and being like, wait, your music's fire. Like, Leon knowing Ty or whatever, like, maybe that helped him, but it helps to have a backing and that coach.
Yeah.
In the industry.
Definitely. So it's like when hard work and preparation meet luck, but also having that, like, kind of support around you.
Yeah.
Live streaming will replace in-person performances.
No. Because you can give the fan experience through a live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Social media, content creation, and live streaming is easy.
No. I've done a couple live streams, like, as testers. It's hard.
Yeah.
Talking to a camera for 2 hours while, like, I did it at Complex Con, and I was, like, running around Complex Con. I would run up to people, and I'd, like, say stuff to them.
Yeah.
Be like, what are you wearing? And they'd go to answer and be like, I don't care. And I'd run away. After 2 hours, I was sweating, and I was so drained because you're constantly, like,
you're on constantly.
So I think it's actually it looked easy. I was like, just talk to a camera. And then I did it. I was like,
yeah. Even with podcasting, like when I have a guest and interviewing someone and talking with someone, it flies by. The time flies by so much quicker. Where when I did like one solo episode, and like filming a solo episode is so much harder because it's just you and the camera and you're not bouncing off anyone. Like I feel like I do best bouncing off somebody else. So when you're just like sitting there facing the camera and keeping people engaged for an hour, 2 hours, and like however long, like, you know, some live streams can be, it's definitely challenging.
Yeah.
All right, so now it's time for Crafty Corner. So what are your go-to snacks on a long day? What are the go-to essentials in your bag? What do you need to have with you to make it through?
Snacks. This is so weird. My recent favorite snack at work is cucumbers with salt.
Interesting. But why don't you just have a pickle?
I never thought about that. It's just different. Okay. And a coffee. I need my coffee when I wake up. Or like,
what kind of coffee do you get?
Recently I've been liking iced brown sugar lattes, but my signature every coffee, no matter what type I get, extra ice, extra shot almond milk. But like I need my assistant will literally text me in the morning like, hey, call me after you have your coffee, please. If I call you before my coffee, I'm like, bah. Yeah. My bag, this is so funny. We were talking about this before I got here. My assistant, she's a godsend. God bless Kaylin. Like, we love Kaylin. She's I don't know how, but she's in my brain. Like, she adopted my brain like that. I hired her, sent her to TwitchCon her first weekend with me with no instruction. And she ran it. Shout out Kaylin. She was like, you need a diaper bag. And I was like, okay. So we got a diaper bag, and it's literally just like a little pouch, like a little pencil case. So at all times I have peppermint hand sanitizer because keep you clean, and I'm always nauseous, so it helps when you're nauseous. Lifesavers and gum. You need fresh breath, and also it helps when you're nauseous. Yeah. And then it's literally like Excedrin, like Pepcid, and like Zofran for those like long nights when you're just super nauseous and have too much caffeine. A pen, a highlighter, and then like a Tower 28 face spray, a lighter, and some chapstick. Like that will get me. And then 2 little sticky notes, and always my computer. Like I always have my computer on me, and like, but those are my essentials. Those are like I try and keep like a little protein bar, like snack on me, but I always forget. But those, like that little pouch I take out of my bag and put in all my other bags. I have like whiteout in it because it like just things you don't think you need that you do need, and a hair tie. I always have a hair tie or like a hair clip in that little pouch. So that pouch is my essentials. There's probably other stuff in it, but those are the ones I go for the most.
And that's smart because then you can just throw that bag in anything.
Any bag. Because those are things most people have, but it's just thrown in your purse, and I'm like trying to find it, and I'm like going through my purse in a meeting, like I need a Zofran, and then it's just all in there. It's like it's something so simple that I never thought of doing. It's condensing it.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So Kailey, what is your industry ick? What's on your industry betrayal list?
Sign the contract. Like, when you're begging for the contract and I send it, sign it. That, or just, like, delays. Like, I think things get delayed super quick. Payments and, like, paperwork, decisions. Those are things that I'm like, get it done. Yesterday I said something. I was like, this is the least favorite part about my job. I don't remember what it was, though. Probably, like, I like clericals, actually. I'm pretty good at typing. I'm, like, a very strong person on the computer because I studied cybersecurity in college. That I don't mind that, but like the cold calls, like the cold call emails and emails I don't love. Text messages I don't mind, but like those are I'd say my industry X, like just stuff like that. I kind of also don't love like Sometimes I get nervous cold texting. Like, throw me in a room. I've never met you before. I don't care at all. Put me on a stage. I don't care. Tell me to send an email to a brand asking them for a sponsorship or a DM. Can't do it.
Interesting. Yeah. I kind of relate to that though, because I love interviews, like job interviews and stuff. Like a lot of people get nervous, and I'm like, no, this is when I work it. Like, this is my time to shine. Like, I love like getting in a room with someone and talking to them. So I relate. Phone calls stress me out the most.
Really?
I don't think I hear very well. Like, I'm probably gonna need like hearing aids in a few. Like, I don't know. So on a phone, I have to have it on speaker. Like, I can't put it next to my ear like this.
Yeah.
And if I'm on speaker, but I walk in circles.
Same.
Like, I have to pace. I can't sit still on a phone. I get sweaty. Like, I get like really nervous when and it's so weird because I don't know why. It's like a little weird phone anxiety. But sometimes if they're like, hey, am I on speaker? Can you take me off speaker? I'm like, this is going downhill.
Yeah.
Because having it right here, just like, I don't know, it stresses me out. I need to have them on speaker.
I take every phone call on speaker. And if they ask me if I'm on speaker, the answer is no.
Yeah, I'm gonna start saying that.
Because we did the math the other day. I just found out you can filter your text messages to unread only. Has saved my life. But I got another phone to help make one work, one personal. It didn't help. I did the math. Like, I average a minimum of 3,000 to 4,000 text messages a day, and then like 15 to 30 Zoom/phone calls a day, because like now people aren't using email anymore, which like I like and I don't like. Corporate wise, using email, but like, how am I gonna call like your favorite rapper and be like, can you email me? They're gonna be like, getting their numbers hard enough sometimes, you know? So it's like, but it's hard to keep track of it, because then it's like, if I'm thriving in work on my text messages, I'm falling behind in my personal life, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's like, I literally try and take 5 to 15 minutes a day to lock in and go through my text. Like, Kaylin, that was one of the first things like she picked up on. She was like, you don't answer your text. Like, we'd be halfway through the day, and she could tell if I needed a break. I'd never take breaks. She'd be like, let's go through your text messages. Or I would just give her my phone or give her my other phone. I'd be like, I trust you, you know, like, respond. Or what is really good and helpful, which sounds like I'm a baby, but it's like, when you're in this state of your mind constantly running, it's very hard for, like, when I first started working at my company, I had a very hard time shutting my brain off. I would be at home laying in bed thinking like, oh, like about this contract, or like, I forgot to send this text, or oh, this person would be a really good streamer. Who has his number? Like, oh, I have the co-president of his label's number, like whatever. So one thing she started doing that was really helpful with, like, she would just read the text messages to me out loud, and then I would respond, and it would also help me really think like, oh, is this important? No, leave it on unread, and then we'll go back when it's not time sensitive.
That's smart.
Yeah, it's having super helpful.
Like, reading them out, and then you can just like speak freely.
Yeah.
She can curate messages.
It's been so, because I'll voice text a lot, and my text speak, I'm no sense. Like, you probably I'm the worst texter.
No, I'm the same way, so I don't take it personally, because I'm the worst at it too. So I'm listening to this like, this is advice I should take.
It's been so helpful, because then I'm like, when you hear it out loud, you're comprehending it more than when you're sitting there like reading it. I'll misread something, or I'll forget to say something. Yeah. Or what's super important is I'll overshare. When I'll give too much detail when I'm texting back, or I won't give enough. And when I'm reading it out loud to her, she'll be like, they don't need to know that we're having a technical issue. They don't need to know that we don't have the permit yet. Yeah. Like, they don't need to know we don't have a COI for this yet.
It's so funny. I'll be texting someone back, and I'll read it to my mom, and she'll be like, say the same thing. She's like, you don't need to include that. You can just say this. It is helpful just like talking about it with someone. Yeah. But texting it's not my strong suit.
It's
I need
hard,
to get better at it.
But I prefer it over email.
Yeah.
It's like, pick your poison.
Interesting. Yeah. So, Kailey, this is called Call Sheet Confessions. Okay. What is your call sheet confession?
Like, something I've never told anyone?
Yeah. Something we wouldn't know. Something, a crazy fail on a job, getting fired from a job, hooking up with a coworker.
Never.
It can be anything.
It's just the way you said it. You're like hooking up with a coworker, and I'm like, where? Once I got fired from a job. This is so funny, actually. A fail I did once when I was managing those crypto traders. I'm really bad at math, like really bad at math. I would do their pay and their schedules. They got paid in crypto, but I wouldn't need to do the like.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? The conversion.
Okay.
But I miscalculated their pay so many times. And so a bunch of times they got overpaid or underpaid. That sucked. I felt really, really bad because I was like, dang. So once I was working at this clothing store in Santa Monica, I probably like have a resentment with her, but it was 3 stores on the same block. One was a baby clothing store, one was like a Paper Source type store, and one was a women's clothing store. So we cycled through the 3, but only one person managed the store at once. So if a guy needed to go to the bathroom, I would have to lock the door and like shut the store down for a sec. She was like, hey, I need you guys to be filming more content while you're at the store. I was like, cool. I filmed a bunch of content. Then one day I was like, should we do swimsuit content? She was like, yeah, that would be great. So I filmed the swimsuit. We were filming them on shift. So I filmed the swimsuit content on shift, like kind of in the back of the store. Like it wasn't like crazy, like, you know, and I was wearing like cover-ups and hats. Like it was a very high-end bathing suit store. So it had like the little cover-ups and the matching skirts, whatever. So I asked permission to film it. She said yes, the owner of the store. She got a video from a woman across the street who was her friend of me filming the swimsuit content in the store. And she was like, hey, like the woman was just a Karen because it wasn't anything inappropriate. Like I have the video still. Yeah. They're still live on her Instagram. If they were that inappropriate, why would she post it on the company Instagram? Right. So the woman sent her the video. I go home. I get fired over text message because of the video. So I responded like very professionally, and I was like, do you mind hopping on a call just so I have clarity on why I was fired so I don't make the same mistakes in the future in my next role? She said, sure. She calls me. Obviously, she's on speaker. Yeah. A coworker is behind me, right? So that coworker was from Australia. Her papers had just expired, so she was going back to Australia. Yeah. So the woman says out loud, this is why I'm firing you. Like, the woman saw the content, and I was like, did you give me permission to film the content? She said, yes. I said, did you approve the video to be posted on socials? She said, yes. I said, did you find the video inappropriate? She said, no. I said, okay, so then I guess I'm a little confused. And she was like, well, like, we've just been having some issues. She wouldn't mention the issues. And she was like, I would also be firing. And then she says the other girl's name if she wasn't getting deported next week. And I was like, my bad. But, like, so that was just such a crazy situation because it was like she had a valid reason to fire me, but she said that wasn't the reason she was firing me because she said she gave me permission for it. So it was just like a really like weird situation. Had I shown up late a couple of times? For sure. Like, had I made mistakes? For sure. You tell me that's the reason you're firing me, not like, you know, the whole video situation, because it wasn't like the video was still on the Instagram, like, you know, and then her saying that out loud about another employee to me is so inappropriate. And that other employee hearing her, which she obviously didn't know, but it's just like, you should not be telling another employee you were going to fire another employee if they weren't getting deported. And also, you don't know that I know that's why she's leaving. That's like private information. Yeah. None of us were on paper, though. We were all under the table employee, or we got paid normally, but we didn't sign contracts to work there. So it was like I couldn't do anything about it, and I didn't. But that was like a crazy like situation. Did she have a reason to fire me? Maybe.
No, she didn't. That's not a reason. That someone saw you filming social media content and took a video of you filming social media content. And that's not a reason to fire someone.
If it was like sexual and like inappropriate, for sure.
Yeah, but it wasn't, and she posted the damn video on Instagram.
The woman was like, why is she doing this during work hours? It had nothing to do with the attire.
But that's part of the, because she probably thought you were taking selfies for yourself. Exactly. Like, yeah, you were just like trying on bikinis and taking pictures, but you are filming social media content. So what she should have done is said to the woman, oh, actually, that's part of her role. She's filming social media content for me. That's not a reason. If you were just taking pictures on your own, whatever, during work hours, then that would be a reason. Sure.
There's cameras in the stores too. Like she saw me.
Yeah.
Like it was, and I asked for permission. I showed her the bikinis I was shooting in, the full pieces, whatever. But the reason why, even though that's not that bad, like it wasn't world altering, life altering, I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
So I just told people I quit. I was like, oh, I quit.
No, of course. I I get what you're saying. No one wants to be fired, like the damn. But the thing is,
you're firing me for being a baddie. Like, just say it. I'm kidding.
Literally, you didn't do anything wrong, so you shouldn't be embarrassed. She should be embarrassed, for firing you for literally no reason, not doing things by the book, paying you guys under table, and speaking about another employee's employment status to another employee. That is crazy. Not someone else's business. She's all types of unprofessional, so I don't know why she's firing you for being unprofessional.
Sure. Well, and like the success, like going back to talking about everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
That girl who was in my room at the time. Yeah. She was like, I was starting to do more in fashion at this point in time.
Gotcha.
She was like, I'll quit right now and work for you if I can be your assistant. And I said to her, I can't pay you a lot of money right now. Because I was making like, what's minimum wage in California? $17.50?
Yeah, or like, yeah.
I was making that an hour. So I could not pay this girl that much. I was like, I can't pay you much, but we can, if you want. Ended up like bonding, and she became my assistant for a really long time. I ended up until she had to leave America. I almost brought her back from Australia to work for me, but like that came out of that because she helped me like grow in styling through a bad, like two bads did end up making a good.
Yeah.
That was something cute that came out of it for sure. She traveled with me a bunch. Like we went to Vegas once to do something, and it ended up turning into like a work trip. Like it was fun. It was really, really fun.
Yeah. So that boss lost 2 great employees, but then the 2 great employees teamed up and worked together.
Yeah, no, literally.
Yeah, everything definitely does happen for a reason.
For sure.
Kailey, in another life, what would you be doing if you weren't doing what you're doing now?
Alimony.
You've said this before. You're so funny. She'd be in Pilates every day.
Oh my gosh. Funny. Like maybe. I think like a real, like low key, I do, like all jokes aside, I do always say if a man were to offer to retire me and like give me a full life beyond my wildest dreams, I'd be like, okay, cool. I need to do something, whether it's build a business that loses thousands of dollars every month or teach Pilates. Like, I would need to do something.
Not a business that loses. If you started a business, you would make money. You did your styling stuff. You make goal. Yes. But like, I think it's so important for women to have their own thing. I think when you can get into a marriage or even just like a partnership and dating someone, women can lose themselves in that. And I think it's so important for women to have their own source of income and their own thing that they're passionate about.
Yeah.
Because if it's not a bad thing to have a partner that helps you out, that contributes. That's a great thing and that's really helpful. But it's important to have your own thing because, you don't want to ever feel trapped or stuck in something that you shouldn't be in because there's no way to get out or because you're in it for money or and you're like, well, if I leave, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I think it's good for women to have that out, but also just like something they're passionate about, a passion project, something that's their own, I think is so important for women to do.
Yeah. Like, and I always do say alimony, like kind of as a joke and like serious, but I love being like a hustler so much. Like I love it so much that I think I would be doing something just as chaotic. Like, honestly, I would love to fulfill my dream of, like, being a forensic psychiatrist, psychologist, like, in the FBI or, like, working for a company like that. I would love, love, love to do that. Yeah. But I don't even think, anything's possible. But I think at this point in my life, I have started to go down a very different path. And I'm going to ride that out. Could I always go back to school and, do things like that? For sure.
Right.
But yeah, I think that is what I would do, would try to go down that path or maybe go back to working with kids. And, my mom is fully convinced I'll be a nurse one day still. I'm not going to be a nurse. But I think it's because of my people skills and my caregiving skills and my, experience with working with special needs children.
Right. So what is your advice if you were to start over? If you were to talk to young Kailey who first moved to LA, what would your advice be for her? And for, college students or young people that want to be in the place that you are today, working for a live stream production company, working in the industry, working as a stylist, what's your advice for them?
Yeah, what I would say to myself when I very first moved out here would be don't rush. Don't rush into living alone. Don't rush into getting your own place. A job is a job. It doesn't matter what it is. You don't need to lie about what you're doing or lie who you're working for, who you're working with. Like, slow and steady does win the race.
Yeah.
That is what I would tell myself. What I would tell people in college or, starting to get their foot in the industry would be something along those lines. Like, especially if you live in LA, there's always a bigger house. There's always a bigger car. There's always a prettier girl, and that stuff is all okay. If you make those things your goal, you're not going to get to the exact goal. If you make your goal being super driven and super work-minded or hustle a hustler isn't just a word. Being a hustler means you work all the fucking time and you don't stop, but it's also being driven, being confident, being accountable, being honest. Make those things your goal and the good things will come. Once I gave up on the superficials, of course, I'm still, have some superficial things or want the G-Wagon or want the house in Venice on the beach. I know that I'm doing what I'm doing to get to where I'm going. Yeah. Driving the ugly rental car because my car is at the shop or staying in the shitty apartment for 6 months until I can afford a nice one. I'm doing those things so I can get to, that thing that it's kind of not everything is what it seems. One, social media is fake. Like I always say, social media is fake. Definitely. What you see is not real, and start with the small goals and then work your way up to the big goals, because I have had the most success in my career when I've fallen down, humbled myself, gotten back up, and then that big fish comes, that big whale, that big client, that big venue, that Grammy nominee, that going to the Grammys, all those, going to Radio City Music Hall, working with the cast of Love Island, working with rappers I listened to, grew up on. All of that came from falling down, getting up, humbling myself, and trying again. When I'm fishing for this thing, I don't get it, or I don't get it in the right way.
Yeah, that resilience is the most important.
Yeah, for sure. And acceptance, what I talked about earlier, being in acceptance that the outcome may not be what you want it to be, or maybe at the wrong time, or you didn't get the client you wanted, or you got fired. Yeah. It's okay. Just accept that and move on mindfully. If you sit here and beat yourself up over it every day, you're not going to get over that hurdle. You're going to stay in that stuck place, because that's how I used to live my life, was knocked down, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Kailey, are you living your dream right now, or what does long-term success look for you?
You know what's so funny? What? When people ask me, they're like, how are you today? I always go, living the American dream. Honestly, I am. But a big part of my story is being sober. So it's the life I've built myself today has been a result of that.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, if you asked me if I would be where I am today, the answer would be no. I never thought I would make it this far in my life at all, as far as a lot of things. That right now, yes, I'm very happy with the life I've built and the job I have and the people that I surround myself with. It's better than a life I literally ever thought I was going to be capable and privileged of having, and just having such a strong support system. And all of those things came with putting those superficials aside and wanting to not only better myself but better the people around me. It's super easy to live in a place of selfishness and narcissism in this industry.
Yeah.
Because you become desensitized to everything. Right. You become desensitized to mansions, money. I always say money, mansions, and men. You come desensitized to all of it, cars, celebrities. So it's super important to remember how you got there. So yeah, I'm very happy and at peace with where I am in my life now, for sure.
That's amazing. Well, Kailey, thank you so much for coming on Call She Confessions.
Thank you.
I gotta say, you you're a huge inspiration to me ever since meeting you, like very inspired by you and the way you've, gotten sober and created this whole lane for yourself in this industry and such an incredible life for yourself. Like I said, you're the definition of a true hustler, and I'm so glad that I got to have you on and for you to share your knowledge and share how smart you are and that advice for people that want to be in this industry and want to live in LA and do what we're doing. But I'm very lucky to call you a friend, and I'm very grateful that you came on the show today.
Thank you so much. I know I always talk about, like, I'm so happy that we met, and, like, how we met, I feel like is such a reflection of the type of people we both are. And, like, we have a similar background from dance to the industry to everything like that.
Right.
Like, and I feel like we're such big teachers to one another without directly being like, do things this way, and it's like my favorite thing about it. And it's like, you're someone out here that I feel like we both know, like, I can always call you when, like, some shit goes down.
Yeah,
like,
and we know I've called you. I love it. Yeah. It's nice to have that person that you can always rely on. And I feel like maybe it's coming from Philly. Maybe it's just who, our families that we came from. But I feel like we have really similar core values.
For sure.
And that we live by, and that really relates us to one another. And the way we did meet was crazy, and you were so nice. I come to this girl's house, she's never met me, and you're like, you can use anything, you can wear this, do you need help with anything, let's give and that I really needed that at that time, but it also just speaks to your character. And I really, really appreciated that and really appreciate you.
Me too.
Well, where can everyone find you? What's next for you?
What's next for me is hopefully just continuing to grow my career and find things that excite me. I think that's just so important, is living to work and working to live, that happy medium. I'm most active on my Instagram, from work to personal life to workouts to drama going on in my life, whatever it may be, house leaks, you name it. And my Instagram is KAI 3Ls E 4Ys.
Period. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
That is this episode of Call Sheet Confessions. Always make sure to follow the dream, work hard. If your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. May your call times be reasonable and your checks be on time. And like my Mimi always says, break a leg, but not really. Also, don't forget to subscribe. We are also now on Apple Podcasts, so you can listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and continue watching on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Call Sheet Confess Pod, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.